East Coast Expressway Phase 2, better known as LPT2, is the extension of East Coast Expressway in the state of Terengganu, Malaysia. With a length of 184 kilometers, the expressway links the state capital Kuala Terengganu with the rest of National Expressway network. The second phase of East Coast Expressway faced numerous issues on its early years, such as delays, construction quality issues, wildlife roadkills, and high accident rates. What caused the delay of building LPT2? What are the challenges and benefits of building such an expressway? And why its extension to Kelantan was never built despite all the talks and the news? Let's drive through the hilly jungle and palm oil trees from the coast to understand the challenges and stories behind building East Coast Expressway Phase 2 and the wait for its extension. Terengganu is located on the eastern coast of Peninsular Malaysia, blessed with the white sandy beaches, crystal clear seawater on its islands, and since 1970s, producer of petroleum. Together with the increase of population and increase of household income that led to increasing traffic, LPT2 was supposed to be built together with the first stage of the East Coast Expressway in the late 1990s. To understand the need of constructing LPT2, we need to look back into the history of road transport in Terengganu. Terengganu is located at the eastern coast of Peninsular Malaysia, where the most of the population concentrated along the coast. Fishing and small-scale farming were the main source of income of Terengganu before the discovery of iron ore deposit in Bukit Besi in 1916 and oil in the 1970s. As a result, Terengganu is the only state in the peninsula that is not connected with Malayan Railway, today known as Kereta Api Tanah Melayu or KTM. As the mining industry concentrated in the south of Terengganu, most of the people throughout the state continue to rely on sea and farming for a living. Thus, the main roads in Terengganu are built near to the sea to connect the major coastal towns with the neighbouring Pahang and Kelantan. Before the construction of LPT2, southern half of Terengganu is served by two main roads, Federal Route 3 by the coast and Federal Route 14 in the interior. Federal Route 3 is more important than the later bit Federal Route 14 as the road connects Kuala Terengganu with Kota Bharu, Kuantan and district capitals of Marang, Dungun and Chukai. When Central Terengganu Development Board or Ketengah was established in the year 1973, a new road was planned to open the new lands for palm oil to reduce the unemployment at the coastal towns and diversify the economy. That explains why you can see palm oil trees in most of the LPT2 alignment. The construction of the road known as Jerangau Jabor Highway was started in the year 1977 and completed in 1979 and gazetted as Federal Route 14. Served as the main road in the southern interior of Terengganu, the highway also becomes the second major road linking Terengganu and Pahang. Due to its shorter distance between Kuantan and Kuala Terengganu, the alignment of Jerangau Jabor Highway becomes the basis for the alignment of LPT2. Initially, LPT2 should be together with the East Coast Expressway Phase 1 that was built between Karak and Kuantan. In the early plan in the year 1993, East Coast Expressway was the expressway between Karak and Kuala Terengganu that should be built under a single contractor, single main contractor and a single concessionaire. However, the partition of East Coast Expressway happened in the year 1999. There was a change of government in Terengganu which was an opposite side of the ruling party in the federal government. A combination of different political parties and promise of toll-free routes in Terengganu makes the construction progress of East Coast Expressway in Terengganu was frozen between 1999 and 2004. It was after the change of government in Terengganu in the year 2004 that the extension of East Coast Expressway could be resumed. Economically, Terengganu is a producer of crude oil, refined petroleum, seafood, palm oil and timber. LPT2 will link industrial areas such as in Kerteh, Teluk Kalong and Gong Badak, easing the logistic and promote economic growth. In addition, Terengganu has bustling tourism activities such as shopping at Pasar Payang or fishing at Lake Kenyir or enjoying the white sandy beach in Redang and Perhentian Islands. There are several reasons why LPT2 built further from the sea than the Federal Route Road 3 and Federal Road 14. Reason number 1, to minimize the land acquisition. Interior Terengganu is sparsely populated with palm oil plantations and jungles in comparison with the towns and villages near the coast. As what happened during the construction of West Coast Expressway, acquiring land from small plot holders are time-consuming and require a lot of negotiation and concession. I talked about West Coast Expressway in the previous video, where almost 1 billion ringgit was spent just to widen the existing road that passing through the villages. If you want to know why, the link is here. Therefore, faster land acquisition means that the earthworks could start as soon as possible. Reason number 2, to reduce the total distance of the expressway. Terengganu Coast has a curvy shape on the side of the fish-shaped state. Thus, Terengganu looks like a fish with a tail in the bottom. The distance between Kuala Terengganu to Kuantan via Interior Road is 199 km, while the distance to and from the same cities via Coastal Road is 206 km. Therefore, the straightest and shortest possible distance to build LPT2 is via the interior, away from the coastal town and villages. Unique among expressways in Malaysia, LPT2 is the only expressway that was built by different main contractors supervised by two different authority bodies. Malaysian Highway Authority or LLM supervised the construction of 63 km alignment between Bukit Besi and Telemong, plus the spur road between Telemong and Bukit Payok, the road that's supposed to be part of the second East-West Highway. I talked about the second East-West Highway in the previous video, where this road supposed to be the first East-West, but the construction was delayed for 30 plus years. If you want to know why it becomes second and not the first, you can watch the video with the link up here. The portion under LLM was constructed by MTD, which is the main contractor and former concessionaire of KL Kara Expressway and East Coast Expressway Phase 1. The rest of the 120 km of the LPT2 alignment was supervised by Public Works Department or JKR to allow the participants of local Terengganu contractors as per being requested by Terengganu State Government. Due to the massive scale of the construction and payment from the government took longer time than private financial institutions, the segment under local contractors faced progress delays. It took forever for the contractors to wait before any payment paid from the government treasury. People who always going errands at the government offices know this thing very well. In addition, small local contractors often face financial issues as their capital, assets and loan capability is not as strong as the major construction firms. As a result, the constantly increasing cost of construction materials such as steel, tar and concrete did not match up with the payment received by the contractors. According to the National Auditor General report in 2012, the construction delay caused the cost of constructing LPT2 increased from around 2 billion ringgit to 2.9 billion ringgit. The additional cost was borne by the federal government by adding 800 million ringgit more to the project. Adding with the seasonal monsoon which caused flood after heavy rain, bridges were constructed instead of embankment, which added up into the construction cost. Unsurprisingly, the first segments of LPT2 open to the traffic is between Bukit Besi to Ajil and Telemong and Kuala Terengganu was opened on the 22nd of August 2011. The segment partially built under the supervision of LLM. Other sections were opened by stages between 2011 and 2015. LPT2 was fully opened on the 31st of January 2015 with a final cost of more than 4.2 billion ringgit, 2 times the original estimated cost. However, LPT2 saga was not end at its completion. There were intense discussions of who will be chosen as the concessionaire, who will be responsible to maintain the expressway and collect the tolls. As a result, the vehicles that use LPT2 on its early years enjoy free toll for the first few months. Finally, on the 50th of July 2016, the concessionaire was appointed, which is LPT2 Senjam Berhad, a subsidiary of large toll concessionaire group Plus Berhad. After its completion, the expressway faced numerous cases of fatal accidents. with a combination of empty lanes, relatively straight alignment and far from the major towns makes LPT2 kind of a racing track. Thus, it is uncommon to see the vehicles drive faster than the speed limit of 110 km per hour. Some people try to blame and point the fingers to the other causes. Foggy days, heavy rain, even blame on the ghosts and the genie. According to Malaysian Institute of Road Safety or MIROS in the year 2016, it was found that 80% of the accidents on LPT2 was caused by reckless driving, humans. Despite being maintained by two different concessionaires, the whole East Coast Expressway is barrier-free from Karak on the west to Kuala Terengganu to the northeast. The expressway becomes fully cashless since 2017 with a slight issue. East Coast Expressway, both Phase 1 and Phase 2, is the only expressway in Malaysia that do not accept Touch and Go RFID, and very likely the last expressway that accepted credit or debit card. For now, East Coast Expressway ended at Kuala Terengganu interchange, and as in April 2024, there is no visible works of extending the expressway northwards to Kelantan. There are a number of comments that requested the discussion of the East Coast Expressway Phase 3 since a few years back. So let's talk about LPT3. East Coast Expressway Phase 3 or LPT3 is the proposed extension of the expressway from Kuala Terengganu all the way to Pangkalon Kubo, Kelantan, where the expressway will terminate at Thai border. Not just end like that, a new road will link the bridge across Malaysia-Thailand border to the Highway 42 to Narathiwat and Patani. For many years, the discussion and news of LPT3 has been ongoing, but there is little progress on the project. No land acquisition, no contractor appointment, and not a single tractor is moving the earth. There are two main reasons that the construction of a LPT3 was delayed and never passed the planning stage. Reason number one, the promise of toll-free road. After another change of government of Terengganu in the year 2018, the progress of LPT3 has been sluggish if not freeze. The current ruling party always affirmed of the promise of toll-free roads as they did before when the toll at Sultan Mahmud Bridge in Kuala Terengganu was abolished in the year 2000. Therefore, the prospect of building a toll expressway under the current government of Terengganu is slim or non-existent. Number 2. Alternative. As a toll-free alternative, current Terengganu state government has promised to build a dual carriageway between Besut in the north and Kemaman in the south, projected to be completed in the year 2027. In fact, several segments of coastal road has been widened as a dual carriageway, such as between Kuala Terengganu and Marang and Gong Balai and Rantau Abang. However, the dual carriageway has traffic lights, junctions and sharp corners, which is not suitable to call the road as expressway. Another alternative is made by Steel Railway. East Coast Rail Link or ECRL is the Chinese-funded higher-speed rail project linking Kuala Lumpur with the East Coast states of Pahang, Terengganu and Kelantan. Built under the Grand Scheme of Belt and Road Initiative or BRI, ECRL is expected to convert a portion of road traffic into rail traffic based on the promise of maximum speed of 160 km per hour with a link to the major industry areas. Kuala Lumpur to Kota Baru in just 4 hours or less. Is ECRL causing the postponement of LPT3? The answer could be yes or no. Yes, because the people will switch from cars and buses to trains, reducing the traffic forecast, and perhaps no, because everyone need to pay to ride the train and many will insist to drive a car. There is no such thing as a free ride in life. Despite the numerous issues related to LPT3, the idea to complete the East Coast Expressway did not die out in the long-term national planning. By looking at the Master Plan 2030 of Tumpat Kelantan published by Plan Malaysia, the East Coast Expressway Phase 3 should pass through Tumpat and ends near Pangkalon Kubo. A new bridge crossing Malaysia-Thailand border near Pangkalon Kubo, specifically at Pulau Ular where the river is narrower than the river estuary near Tak Bai. The bridge between Pangkalan Kubur and Takbai might spell the end of the last river ferry in Peninsular Malaysia, a topic for another video. For now, all the vehicles heading towards Kota Bharu need to endure hours of driving through steep hills and passing through the towns on a single lane Federal Route 3. Do you think that the East Coast Expressway will ever be completed? You can comment down below. If you want to drive on East Coast Expressway, the expressway begins at Karak, the end of KL Karak Expressway, and ends at Kuala Terengganu. There is only one petrol station at Prasing near Pahang Terengganu border and small petrol pumps at Pakar. It is better to fill up the petrol before entering the expressway. Major tourist attractions along East Coast Expressway Phase 2 are Rantau Abang Turtle Nesting Site, Bukit Besi Historical Town, Kuala Terengganu City, and islands of Redang and Perhentian. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new about East Coast Expressway that cut through the jungles, hills and palm oil trees. Thank you so much for watching again and see you in the next video. Oh no, what time will I arrive in Kota Bharu?